Hey bookworms! So I finally finished reading My Name is Memory by Brashares, so I figured I would review that for you guys today. Now, I'm really unsure how I feel about this book. So this story is about a character called Daniel who has an ability called the memory, and this basically means when he dies he gets reincarnated just like everybody else, but the only exception is that he can remember it. So he remembers all of his past lives. Now I originally picked up this book because the storyline seemed really interesting to me, the fact that he can remember all his past lives, and in every one of his lives he tries to find this one girl that he loves. And obviously she doesn't have the memory, so she doesn't remember him. So when he finally does find her in all of his lives, he has to kind of try to get close to her, try to convince her that she loves him too, and I don't know, tell her about the ability. And the way the story is kind of written is it kind of flicks between chapters. Each chapter it'll flick between time frames. So it'll kind of go from quite a long time ago, to like 45 AD to 2007. Like the 2007 section is kind of the main section of this story, but each chapter it flicks to a different time frame, so you can kind of get a better understanding of his background, his past relationships with this one girl. So in the 2007 storyline, he's a character called Daniel, which he's always a character called Daniel, but her name changes. And in the 2007 storyline, she's called Lucy. Now he kind of tries to get close to her because she has feelings for him and he has feelings for her. But then when he tries to get close to her, he tells her about the memory and she gets freaked out and runs away. And basically this modern day storyline kind of spans about 5 years and just tells the story of how he tries to stay away, she fancies him, this, that and the other. Now I've read quite a few books recently where each chapter either the time frame changes or the point of view changes, and I'm actually getting slightly sick of it. It just seems that every book I'm reading recently doesn't have one point of view to look at. It doesn't have one time frame the story is happening in. It just keeps jumping about. But I'm not going to penalise this book for that, because obviously it's not this book's fault that I've read so many books of that style recently, so I'm not going to mark this book down because of that. I just thought it was worth mentioning. I was actually really excited to read this book when I first picked it up last year because I think it's such a unique idea for a story, but I can't help feeling that the author didn't quite pull it off as well as I was hoping she would. I actually went through phases with this book. As I was reading it, there was parts of it where I absolutely really loved it and I couldn't wait to read more, and other points I wasn't really that bothered. I just wanted to get it over and done with so I can read something else, and I think that's part of the reason why I have such mixed feelings about this book, because I had different feelings about different parts. What I will give the author credit for, however, is the fact that she did develop the characters pretty well, regardless of the fact there was actually quite a lot of them, especially as there was the same girl who came up in several time frames. So the same soul of the girl came up as Sophia, as Constance and as Lucy, and I kind of feel she did a good job of making the characters different enough to show that they're slightly different people and they don't remember who they are, but also kind of fundamentally the same. So I think that's probably not the easiest thing to do, so she did pull that off pretty well. But the writing style itself is nothing special. It's not awful, it's not a chore to read, but it's not exquisitely poetic either. I think that's kind of why at times it was kind of difficult for me to push through the story, because it was being told in sort of a bland fashion. Also, I just wanted to talk about the ending real quick. If you haven't read the book, don't worry, you can still watch this next bit because I'm not going to put any spoilers in. I just wanted to say that I finished this book and I wasn't actually satisfied with the ending. I was left with so many questions about different scenarios, different characters, and I just don't feel that they were answered. Especially at the end bit, there was so much action and so much emotion jam-packed into the last couple pages of the book, and then it just finished. And I didn't like that. But overall, I would probably give this book about 3 out of 5 stars, and even though I didn't particularly love it and I wouldn't highly recommend it to anyone, if you happen to pick it up to read it, then it's quite an enjoyable read. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, I just think it didn't live up to the expectations I had of it in my head. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.